In this short video, I'm going to present why DC Core has formed. Hello. In this video today, I'm going to be presenting who DC Core is and why we want to form a caucus. DC Core stands for the DC Caucus of Rank and File Educators. DC Core is made up of members of the Washington Teachers Union. We seek to move our organization from a service-driven model to one that is based primarily on organizing. We firmly believe that right now a lot of the challenges that the union is facing is because with a limited staff, we are unable to fully do everything that we wish to do. And that through organizing our own membership and being driven and centered around that organizing, we can build power and thereby do not need to provide as many services, thereby allowing us to provide those services better than we have. The WTU has a long and storied history, but it is one that is also marred with disillusionment. Many times our members are promised things and it's just too difficult to deliver. And we go through endless cycles of our membership aren't stepping up, our leaders aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and we resolve back into a pattern of infighting between people who wish to be president, who criticize each other's leadership. The caucus seeks to do a different way. We seek to remove people and individuals as the core issue of what we're talking about. Instead, we want to center on our membership and primarily around democracy. We believe that because unions are democratic institutions, our rank and file members, our regular members who are serving every day, the students of the District of Columbia, are the ones who should be driving this process, are the ones who should be together holding our leadership accountable. And that's why the caucus was formed. So what is a caucus? A caucus is a group of people with a shared set of concerns and goals who work collectively through the democratic process to move their agenda. We hear about caucuses, especially when you talk about Congress, like the Congressional Black Caucus, the Hispanic Caucus, the Women's Caucus. Sometimes they're solely within a party. Other times they are bipartisan. The point being, they're still part of their larger organization and they still want to move and support the larger organization, but they do it because they have a shared set of vision and they want to make sure they are voting together so they can advance that vision. What can a caucus do? Well, there's all sorts of things that a caucus can do. And How to Jumpstart Your Union, published by Labor Notes, they detail the work of the Caucus of Rank and File Educators, or CORE, in the Chicago Teachers Union, and what they did to get teachers informed and organized to fight against the corporate education reform agenda. They started as a team of 8 people who really were just dedicated to doing the work of the union themselves. Eventually, they became more organized and they developed a platform. Other activities that they engaged in were ranging from informative newsletters and handing it out to coworkers, testifying at public hearings, working with other community groups, and simply talking to members of other schools. They eventually went on to run the union and use their organizing strategies to coordinate large marches and strikes on behalf of the students and schools. They've continued to stay active and hold their elected leadership accountable because not all of them are elected into leadership, and therefore they can make sure that their leaders are always staying true to what the membership wants and are always coming back to the members to find out what's going on. In Seattle, A rank and file caucus known as C is using their contract negotiations to advocate for students against corporate education reform and full equitable funding of their schools. A caucus really can be whatever you want. You can have as many caucuses as you want in a union. The point is that it is a shared set of interests and that you're working together to achieve your goals. So why the caucus of rank and file educators, or CORE? Rank and file refers to members of the union as opposed to the leaders. And CORE in particular is a group of caucuses throughout the country who are sharing a set of principles. So we decided to call our caucus CORE because many of us have been meeting with UCORE, and we share their vision for what unions can be and what they should be. And we want to push our union to be the best version of itself as possible. We have CORE from Chicago, Working Educators for a Stronger Union in Philadelphia, MORE, or the Movement of Rank and File Educators in New York City. We have Union Power, which is UTLA's caucus, currently in control of their union. We have MyCore in Michigan, Educators for a Democratic Union, who also now run their union in Massachusetts. We have BMore, who also recently took over their union. We have C from Seattle. We have North Carolina, and we have Classroom Struggle. One of the major questions that's very understandable is this divisive? Is forming a caucus divisive? Our position is no, absolutely not. This is not meant to be divisive. This is not meant to be anti-anybody. It's not meant to be anti-WTU. Instead, the caucus is a sign of a healthy union democracy. In order to get anything done in a democracy, you need to organize votes. You need to convince people to take your side. You need to advance your cause. That's how democracies work. And therefore, a caucus is just a way for rank and file members to use their collective power within the union to push their vision. Ideally, there would be multiple caucuses advancing the different visions of the membership if they don't agree. And that allows us to really take ownership of our union instead of waiting for a leader to tell us something's going to happen and then deciding if we like it or don't like it when the decision's already been made. This is a chance for members to advance what they want together and to take ownership of their union. And anyone can form a caucus because all it is members working together within the union. It could have a name and be official and have bylaws, or it could be an informal caucus. A caucus really is just a group of people meeting together. So you could have an informal one where it's like high school teachers are caucusing to make sure that high schools, or librarians are caucusing to make sure the librarians' voices are being heard. It really can take any form. CORE tends to be more broad-based and really is trying to bring a lot of people together under its principles instead of under your particular position or job. But again, a caucus could take any form. And hopefully one of the goals of DC CORE is that we demonstrate what a caucus can do and hopefully inspire others to create a caucus of their own if their vision does not align with ours. And many unions, especially teachers unions, have a healthy caucus culture. That's just not something that's really been developed in the Washington Teachers Union. But Chicago, for example, has had over 6 caucuses going at any given time. So this isn't abnormal. It's just not necessarily a part of the Washington Teachers Union's history. DC CORE, we are still in development of our principles, and we're still really working to fully create them because we want to do it together, and there will always be a work in progress, and that's part of the beauty of it. But ultimately, there are some core ideas that really make up any group that is aligning with UCORE. One is that this is about rank and file members. It is about those who do the day-to-day work, taking ownership of the union and being the driving force within the union, both coming up with the ideas, deciding on the ideas, and carrying them out. But the other big part of being in the core nationwide organization is that really we are also about so much more than ourselves and our own interests as educators. We believe in economic justice and racial justice, and we believe that unions, especially teachers' unions, can push a radical agenda that takes care of our students, that fights for those without, and pushes back against the corporate privatization that is so rampant in this district and in this country. And that really there is no better group than a teachers' union to advance that mission. Because if we work together, and we work with our parents, and we work with our students, and we work with community organizations that align with that vision, there's nothing we can't accomplish through collective and direct action. So that's really our theory of change. And we believe that we can and must engage in that mission. So if this is something that interests you, either because you'd like to join DC Core, or maybe you just want to learn more about what a caucus is and how perhaps you could form one of your own, certainly want you to be able to reach out to us. So we have a Google form where you can indicate your interest. We have our email account. We have a Twitter page. We also have a Facebook page. And if you do join the group, then you'll be invited to a Facebook group so that you can, again, just kind of keep talking with our members. And then you'll also be invited to our Google group so you can be a part of that discussion and be a part of creating this caucus.